They're amazing.
We'll have to get out there and do that.
Is phenomenal.
They're intense, dude. Like seriously, like. Yeah, there's a lot of good bands out there, but they're freaking intense.
Their stage presence make me like their music.
Cool.
Like it was really like
but you know, presence starts. I mean, one of the
personally.
reasons to have a cello is, for me, one of the interesting things when you're doing original music, sometimes it's hard to get people's attention.
Sure.
Having a cellist on that stage, it gets people's attention enough that, okay, now you've got to win their attention to keep it, but at least you get that opportunity that they're looking at you for a moment, and it's an opportunity to try to win them over that you don't always have. So it's helped tremendously.
It's like Jeremy and Natter. Natter has the stand-up bass.
Yeah. Things like that. You know, they give you the opportunity to win your audience because it gives you that moment of attention.
It's a centerpiece, basically.
Yeah.
But it's also a phenomenal instrument.
Oh, it's a wonderful instrument. Once you got their attention, like I said, then it helps to maintain it. But
it's mandatory.
Absolutely.
You kind of need that. It's like the ZZ Top complex. Like ZZ Top just wore their long trench coats because of MTV.
Sure.
And that's what made them.
It was the beards in the fucking
the
car.
Beards,
It was the fuzzy guitars.
No, but it was the stand-up. Like they did the MTV show.
They sing about body parts like legs and tush and shit. I mean, dude,
everybody
listen
did
to
that.
You kidding me?
Come on, Billy Idol did Eyes Without a Face. Everybody did body parts.
It's horny kids. Fuck you.
Fuck you
They sing
too.
about pearl necklaces and tube snakes.
Let's go hand in hand with tushes and legs.
Innuendos helps.
So relevant, right, Ellen?
But it really
That's my wife.
It's enhanced everything. I mean, you know, it allows for an acoustic version of stuff. It allows for full band. I mean, I'm a big ELO fan, big Jeff Lynne fan. So, I mean, having cello in music, even harder music, it's not as unnatural as someone might think.
I'm a sax fan. Like I like horn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like.
My dad was a sax player.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know, but if
Coltrane?
it's not done right, it really is not done right.
Well,
Like,
but
if it's
Stan,
not
that's
written
true of any
properly,
instrument.
Like we had a band that implemented violin and
Yeah.
saxes, and I'll call it the baby sax, the alto. You know, because the little fucker that he couldn't play. So, but if you until you know how to do it,
Right.
don't do it.
But
Well,
I
that's
thought-
true of anything. If it's not good, it's not going to be good. But, you know, that has been the problem with a lot of music. There's much too much sax and violins in music. So, you know, we have to
but it
think
can
of
be
that.
done right. Like
Right.
it's been a while, but Smashing Pumpkins did it right with Tonight.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything recently. I know Metallica did like an S&M thing.
Well,
Beyond
in the
that.
50s, it was mandatory. My dad was a sax player in a band, you know, a local band up where we came from, and most of the bands in the 50s, the local bands had a sax player. I mean, it was a huge part of, just like you have a guitar player today.
But you had to be a douchey jazz player. Like that was mandatory.
No, he was playing rock.
What was he really?
Yeah, he was playing rock. They were
what
playing
would
50s
a
rock.
jazz song sound like? Can you think of one?
Well, actually, I don't have it now, but
Okay.
they did a record. They
Okay.
did a record back in the day. I always say people it was the first punk rock song because the song starts out with a whip crack and a woman screaming 3 times. You hear this,
Devo,
you hear it, get and they did that back in the 50s, so long before anybody else did it. And then it just turns into a smooth love ballad.
That's what it sounded like right before
It's
my
called
mom ate
Torture
dinner.
Rock.
What are you?
They call it Torture Rock was the name of the song. He didn't write it or anything. He just played on it, but that was
a
their
genre
big
before
moment.
genres got split.
Exactly.
I think my favorite sax in rock music is Pink Floyd. All over Dark Side of the Moon.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was 40 years. Shit. That was 40 years ago.
Well, Springsteen made saxes in music.
Yeah, but
Same time frame.
Dave Matthews does too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get jam bands, that's a different story.
Billy
Right.
Joel had one of the best sax players ever back in the early 80s, late 70s. That dude was the one that did the USSR freaking tour with and all
Right.
that. His name is gone for some reason. I'm trying to remember all
Mellencamp?
fucking names right now. But
Was that Mellencamp? John
No.
Mellencamp? No.
No,
Billy Joel?
was it? No.
Oh, I thought you said. Oh, whatever.
What the hell's wrong with you? That's blasphemy. Turn your mic off. So listen. So Tom, let's since we're talking about the varieties of music, right? You guys look like a pretty eclectic group of fucking people.
we are.
So
I could-
Ellen, like growing up or even now, like everyone loves all music. Let's get that out of the way. When I
Yeah.
say what kind of music do you like, don't go, I love it all. We all do.
Yeah.
But like when I get in the car and I want to just get away, I throw in some old blues, some old freaking Albert Collins, some old, you know what I mean, type of thing, Albert King.
Yeah.
What do you listen to
do
get
you,
away
do you
with?
really want to know?
Yeah.
No,
I-
no,
No,
that's-
my first favorite music was actually classical, and particular Baroque music. So
For my listeners,
my
tell
old
them what
time
that means.
favorites, my old time favorites are from the 1600s. So
I got you. See,
Yeah,
I used to think I
really,
wanted
really,
to live
really
in that
old.
time, but yeah, I wanted to live longer than they did, so that's not
Well,
going to work out.
those people's music is still around, so I mean, they're immortal.
But see, Mike? Immortals are real, bro. It's not just vampires.
You can't argue with that.
Highlander is not the only one.
So that's one end of the spectrum.
Yep.
Which one of you guys is at the other end of that?
Oh, probably Tom.
Well, my
Yeah, how did why was I looking at him?
Well, my favorite band is Black Sabbath.
There we
By
go.
far.
Good call.
Love Sabbath. I started playing. A lot of it had to do with Iommi and his first 4 albums with Sabbath. But Hendrix, Cream, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
So we're back to the blues. Like, yeah.
I grew up in Chicago. I love blues. But I'm into so many different styles. I have on my phone Les Paul and Mary Ford, actually. And I'll listen to that.
Dude, I was
So-
jamming out to Madonna the other day, so don't give me your bullshit. I mean, I get it.
But, and then Pink Floyd. How can you beat David Gilmour, man? I mean,
With a broom. No. How can you?
but
And how about colonoscopy? How? What do you?
I grew up kind of same as Ellen. I grew up in a family of classical symphony operas. I used to go to the opera regularly
really?
as a child. Yeah,
So your parents had money.
and my father was a professional jazz trumpet player. My mother
Hold
ran
on, say that
the
again?
women.
Your father was a professional jazz. Are you
jazz
serious?
trumpet. Yeah, he played
That's
with a lot of the
freaking
big
awesome.
bands like Cab Calloway, Benny Goodman.
Shut the
and
hell
stuff.
up.
He toured all over. Yeah,
That's awesome.
He supported his family from the time he was about 14 years old on. Put himself through Yale and
Dude, that is
Columbia
a
Law
phenomenal
School
support system to
on
have if you're
trumpet.
going to.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
But
wow.
much to their heartache, my first album that I bought as a teenager was Alice Cooper Killer. I took a total U-turn on that. I got into a lot of the eclectic stuff as a teen. Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart, the Fugs, a lot of the offbeat stuff, and moved into traditional rock, what we consider classic rock now from there.
and he also toured with a punk band for a while too.
In the 80s, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
You look like you toured with a punk
Yeah,
band.
I mean, we're talking the original, the stiff mohawks, the spiked, wristbands and collars. They'd
then you were born again, and here we
slam
are.
dance till they bled.
So
I might, somewhere.
right now, Marion, well, whatever, Marion Musica, she put her name in it. She's the one that plays the violin in the band we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
They're Soul Revolution. They're not together anymore.
Oh.
But it was a cool ass band.
Yeah.
It was as close to a jazzy band as you will, if you want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the one that had the sax and the
Sure.
violin.
Yeah,
And,
neat.
and they just split up. Music is tough, right? Bands.
It is. It's
Finding
very,
a band
it's
that's going
very
to last
tough.
as far as personalities and connection goes.
It's very difficult.
That's tough.
Yeah, it
and
is.
and you guys are a little older, so you're kind of settled in. But like a lot of these bands are in their early 30s and shit, so all of a sudden they're having babies and want to start families. You know what I mean? Which is cool.
Yeah.
That there's nothing wrong with that's beautiful. But
There's
that's
nothing wrong
the
with anything
struggle
anybody
these
wants
bands
to
are
do,
going
yeah.
through right now.
No.
Is because now I'm looking for a fucking drummer. Now I'm looking for a bassist.
Right.
You notice it's never the lead singer or the fucking guitarist. It's always the drummer or the bassist. Why is that, do you think?
I think because usually the lead singer is probably the front guy. He's probably running the band. So, he's
So it's
looking
his
for
band.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, there have been some great bands where the front guy has been the drummer. I mean, you look at,
Genesis.
Genesis with Phil Collins and even Eagles with Don Henley. So it can happen. It's just not as common. That's all.
And I saw a band not too long ago open for one of the bands I'm in touch with at the Brass Mug. It's called Added Color from New York City. They were down here, and they have 3 singers.
Yeah.
It's not like this guy has a song he sings. Like literally 3 people sing. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or vocalists. One of them is the drummer.
Right.
And dude, it's indie-ish, if you will. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But man, that shit was fun. Fun to watch and fun to listen to. Like I put them in the CD player. Like when I got your CDs from the show,
Right.
that stays in for a couple weeks until you go through the rotations.
Right.
Well, you know the guys from Down from Trees, right?
Fuck them guys.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know them.
Yeah. Brian Armstead, their drummer's a really good singer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We found that out. They had a party. We went over there, and Billy Pratt from Free Life Garden Club now used to be G2P, but they were in there kind of jamming out with Coming Home was there, and like they were playing all of their songs, Down from Trees songs. I'm
Right.
like, dude, I've been to practices. So when I want to hear some fucking blues. So Tony from Coming Home goes, starts lighting it up. Well, then Brian goes on drums and sang all 3 songs that they played by that. I'm like, that was fucking phenomenal.
He still denies knowing you, by the way. I don't know.
Who does?
You're talking to the wrong Brian.
No, both of them now. They deny knowing you. I don't know.
I just
what's
chatted
up.
with Brian on Facebook the other day. I played with Brian,
Brian
for a
also
while.
is just happy to know
He doesn't
anybody.
know
I
what
played
I'm
with
talking
Brian for a while with Bruce Shea, who was one of the bass players who went through 1910 Fruit Gum Company.
Right.
And we were trying to put together a bubblegum review thing, and it just didn't happen. But he was doing a lot of the singing on that, and he was really good.
Brian Bray, the head of that
Yeah,
band, which
right.
he will make that clear to you.
Yeah.
he is a phenomenal writer.
Well,
That
and
guy
I've
can
worked
write
with them
music.
because we're going to be doing a Blue Note show with them
are
in
you?
July. In fact, we're going to support them they're going to be headline in July, and then they're going to come back in September and support us while we headline the Blue
That
Note.
is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, so have you spent some time talking to him?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
No.
No. It's see now you're going to get me in trouble here. No. I mean it's fun talking to him. But what I'm saying is that's the kind of thing I wish we saw more around here. Is we were talking about how are you going to what's the cut and all that kind of stuff. And I brought up the idea. I said, look, we're going to need you down the road. We'll do this show. We won't take a cut of your money. You come and support us. Don't take a cut of our money. Let's trade in support rather than money.
And see, the first time I met you,
Yeah.
when we did a little bit of talking,
Right.
we didn't get to really get too much, but that was coming out of you. And
Well, I
it's easy to
appreciate
see.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, that's what we need more of that.
Well, we all
of
feel
this.
that way.
I mean,
yeah.
I get it, but that you happen to be the one I was talking to.
Yeah.
And then now I've had the chance to come and spend a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And this is what we need.
Yeah,
we need more of this.
I
We
agree.
need more of them. We need more
Absolutely.
of people like that. And I think there's more people out there like that
There
than
are.
people know, is what the problem is.
There's more than not, believe it or not. You just have to run into the
It's
right
just
people.
that
that's
no one
all.
thinks there is.
No.
So they're all sitting back going, no, fucking nobody wants to do this bullshit.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. And now look at you guys. You're doing it.
Yeah.
The Cruel Curses, Murder the Crow.
Mhm.
We put a show together in a fucking parking lot one time. First time they ever met.
Yeah.
Now they do fucking shows together everywhere they go.
Right.
Because
It's great.
you don't know. You know what I mean? You just got to get out there. You need this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it make a difference? Do you? Like, you guys aren't, you're not on the internet a bunch, are you?
I'm not a huge
Anybody.
internet guy as much as these guys are, but
So it's necessary. It's necessary evil for the industry you're in.
oh, absolutely.
Does one of you kind of handle that, or not really?
Yeah, unfortunately, the guy who least knows about it handles it. That's me. But hopefully, and they all pitch in real well. I mean, we do it as a group effort. I mean, it's all everybody. They see something, they're all out there, kind of looking for what's going on. So.
I'm with you because
Yeah.
like he tried to get me to do what were the things? Not Snapchat. What's the other?
Instagram. Listen, I have
Twitter.
3 businesses, so I get it. You got to
Yeah.
promote yourself.
Like,
And
I
it's
tried
hard.
Twitter.
It's hard.
Nah,
It's stupid.
it just sucks.
It's too little space.
Right, I don't see
get
enough food pictures and baby pictures on Twitter, so I got to stick with
Well, you got to
Facebook.
do Instagram.
What? Shut up!
I don't have an Instagram account. That I haven't done yet. So
I do.
It's the same thing. It's Facebook, but just pictures.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
it's the same
constant
thing.
slideshow.
Yes.
Fuck that. Like, who wants to
Actually,
see that?
most people have taken the posting pictures to the same level as posting your story on Facebook.
Really?
Instagram has done that. Like all they do is post to their story. Every once in a
I
while,
haven't
you'll
done that
see a
yet.
picture, but it's all story.
I mean,
I
like
haven't
we all
even done
remember
that.
back with the white white cardboard freaking
Oh,
slideshows.
yeah.
Chess,
Yeah,
You mean
yeah.
chess, right?
Yeah.
What?
Chess back in that day, there was the white
Back in
and
the
then
day
the black.
of chess.
You guys are old,
Don't engage.
old.
Oh, I play the
old.
game chess, but I assume you're talking about something else.
No, I meant you were old.
Oh, yeah, I am. I won't deny it.
Yeah, he admits
You
it.
think just because you put your chair higher than us, it means something? No, dude.
I'm old,
But,
I'll own
like,
it.
You're old. I'm short. You're old.
Like back
I'll
then,
own it.
like you go to someone's house and they, check out my vacation. You know, it's like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? And now they can just splatter it all over
Yeah.
you without you even trying to see it.
Right.
You know,
and
it's
they don't have to invite you to their house and feed you and stuff.
you
so.
could watch their
Oh,
screen.
that's the advantage.
Yeah,
I guess,
it is.
right?
So
Like
they
you
don't
can
have to
send-
feed you stuff. And
Dude, imagine the possibilities.
Just watch the ring. Instead of house sitting, just go, yeah, log me into your ring so I can see if anybody's coming over.
Amanda, has he been drinking?
No.
So let's move on to you,
Okay.
Ray, Riri, whatever the hell your name
Ray.
is. No. What's your go-to music?
Mainly Rush.
Okay, so
He's a drummer. They all
Shortening bands, right?
Neil Peart.
but really, I mean, is it because of that?
I'm sorry.
I mean,
actually, that was